So you started building a Framer site, but you're not quite enjoying the boring vertical scroll on your website. As you scroll, everything simply moves up and down. So you're naturally thinking, how do I make things scroll to the left and to the right? Well, my friend, this is exactly what I'm teaching you today. We're learning the two types of horizontal scrolling in Framer. Oh, and good news, none of them require any coding. My name is Nandi, this is Framer University, and let's get started. So before I do anything, I just want to let you know that you're going to find a remix link for this project down in the description. So feel free to remix it and go to the pages when you remixed it. Make sure to click the starter page and you're going to see the exact same thing that I'm seeing right here with the content that we're going to use for this tutorial. And yeah, you can just start practicing with me. But I'm going to go to the tutorial page and start by explaining the first way of achieving horizontal scrolling on our Framer website, which is actually a little bit more complicated compared to the other option. You can already see them laid out right here. The first example is going to be a horizontal scrolling with sticky positioning and scroll transforms. So how can we set this up properly? Well, let me show you. I'm gonna show you two step by step, and I'm gonna make sure to structure it really clearly so you're gonna be able to just come back to this video whenever you want to do something like this and just see the exact steps that you have to take. So first of all, if you look on the left layers panel, you can see that we have this main container on our website. This is, by the way, the usual structure that you should have on your website. Desktop breakpoint, navigation bar in the top with probably fixed positioning, and then under that a main container that contains all the sections on your website. So this is what we have right here, and then you can see that within that we have a spacer, which can also be called hero because it contains these text layers. And then under that we have two sections, one for example 1 and the other for example 2. So we're going to start working with the first section for the first example. So what you need to do when you want to set up such sticky positioning setup is that you want to make your section for this sticky part of the page, which in our case will actually scroll horizontally, is that you want to make this section larger. So we're going to set the height to a fixed amount, in this case 3000 pixels. So now you can already see that this is super long right here. But no worries, this is what we need. I'm going to also rename this section to scroll animation container, or I don't even know what I usually name this. I think it's just scroll container, not animation container, because it's just a little bit easier to refer to the frame when I'm explaining the video. So this will be our scroll container. Within that, we have this content frame that houses these two text layers. So I'm going to wrap this content inside of another frame. So I'm going to either right click and click add stack, or I can also press the shortcut Option Command Enter, which is what I'm going to do because it's much faster. So now the content is within a stack, which is within the scroll container. Now the stack will be renamed to sticky because this is actually the structure. This will be the sticky frame. So the sticky frame will be, sticky. So in the right panel, we set the position type to sticky, and then we set the height of this frame to 100 VH, which basically means that it will always take up 100% of the given viewport. It's really useful because it will stick to the top of the website or the viewport, and if it's 100 VH height, then it will always take up 100% of the given viewport, so the whole viewport, as long as it's sticking to the top of the page. So now what is the next thing that we have to do? We have the scroll container, which is really long. We have the sticky within. So in theory, how sticky works is basically this sticky section should be sticking to the top of the page or the viewport until the bottom of this sticky frame touches the bottom of the scroll container. So as you can see, there is quite a few scrolls in here, a really long section, and for this area it's going to be completely sticky. So let's take a look at that. I start scrolling and I don't really see the sticky effect, and the reason for this is because In order for Sticky to work, we have to set all of its parent frames to overflow visible. So Sticky frame, one parent frame of Sticky is scroll container, so I'm going to set that to overflow visible, which is already visible. It's weird. It should have been hidden, but very good. It's already visible. Now another parent frame is the main, overflow visible, and then the desktop should also be changed to overflow visible. And now if I start scrolling down, you can see that this sticky section, which contains the text here, is now sticking to the top of the page and essentially staying within our viewport as we are scrolling on that area. I can also add a little fill color to this section, so you're gonna actually see how we scroll, and then as we touch the end of the scroll container, we scroll the sticky section away and it will just start moving to the top. Okay, Nandi, this is all cool, but why are we doing this? Well, we are doing this because then we can have elements within this sticky frame. So I can also add maybe a frame right here, and all sorts of different elements. And what we can do with this is we can add all sorts of different animations to them as we are scrolling here. Because even though this sticky is sticking and is staying within our viewport, other elements that are maybe placed below the sticky, so I'll just do a frame here, you can see that it's now placed within the scroll container, but below the sticky frame, it's not within the sticky, so it will not be sticky, it will just scroll naturally. So these will be hidden trigger frames that will be triggering different animations for us in more complex cases. In our case, we might not even need a secret hidden trigger frame, so I'm gonna delete this here. I'm gonna also delete this frame that I put within the sticky, and instead I'm gonna grab these little images and just come and see and paste it within the sticky frame. Here I'm gonna set the width to fill and the height I think will be fit content. So within this images frame, you're gonna see that we have all of these wrapper frames which contain these different images. It's a really simple structure. I didn't want to spend time by setting this up. One extra interesting thing about this setup is that the stack properties on these images is set to horizontal direction, so the images are right next to each other, and the distribute is set to start. So the first image is starting at the left side of the stack, and it overflows to the right side. So as you can see, as I'm hovering over these wrappers on the left panel, you can see how they are starting to get highlighted around that right area. So they're just overflowing our desktop breakpoint, and basically we cannot see them because they are outside of the desktop breakpoint. But why this is great for us, because then we will be able to move this whole images stack to the left to reveal those other images. So how are we moving them? Well, basically by using a scroll transform. I'm selecting the images, going to the right panel, effects, scroll transform, and it is going to be triggered with a section in view. So we need a section on our page, which we don't really have. So what I usually do is set a scroll section on the scroll container frame, because this is the section where we have the sticky frame. This is the area where it will continuously be sticky, so it makes sense to add a scroll section to it, maybe named trigger, and trigger all sorts of different animations along this area. Because now if we, for example, have this section here, scroll section, and go back to the scroll transform effect that we added to the images, and then select the section in view trigger, and then select the section itself, now this will basically mean that the animation that we set here, so we specify the from state, it is 1 opacity 1 scale, we define the to state, which is going to be a really simple X offset. So I'm just grabbing this X, pulling it down, and making sure that all of these images are nicely coming here to the left. And yeah, I think this is the value that we're gonna have here. So again, from state we're 1 opacity 1 scale, and the to state is just an X offset. So we are moving these images to the left. So when we use section in view, the animation from the from state to the to state will be animated from the top of the selected section to the bottom of the selected section, and this is exactly what we need. This is how we can control how fast the animation is, how long it takes us to reach the end of the animation, how long we have to scroll, how many scrolls, how many swipes you have to make. So yeah, let's take a look at this. Let's see what we have. We start scrolling down and you can see that it already starts scrolling, which might not be the thing that we actually need. So we can play around with the bottom property here, or sorry, the viewport, which is now set to bottom. So if we set it to the center or to the top, or to the top, this might be a little bit better, because now this will wait for our section to touch the top of the viewport and only then start animating to the left. And now you can see that it looks much better. Maybe on the bottom we could have a little more space, so this next section will be set to viewport 100VH, and then you can see that as I scroll down, the animation is just playing and is scrolling to the left. But the issue with the top viewport setting is that we don't reach the to state when we start scrolling the sticky section away, because we have reached the end of the scroll container. So I might use the bottom of the viewport and then make a slight adjustment here by just making this hero here a little bit bigger, maybe 100VH, and then setting the distribute here to center. So this text is centered, and if I start scrolling down, you can see now these images are moving to the left. Now, of course, it looks a little bit weird because the images are a little bit too close to the text, but we can solve that by just adjusting the gap here between those two elements. And now again, just to take a last look here, I start scrolling down, this section starts entering the viewport, and the content within starts scrolling to the left, because the scroll transform on the images are getting triggered because we are actually scrolling on an area which is a scroll section, and that triggers the scroll transform effect. So yeah, this is how you can move content on your page from left to right, but there is another way as well that we're going to cover right now. So there are two things that we need to know about this second technique of moving elements from left to right or right to left on our website. First of all, it's much simpler. It's easier to achieve. However, second, it is also very different, because our first example was triggered when we were scrolling on the page, and if we stopped our scroll, it just stopped. If we scrolled a little bit more, it started moving a little bit more. So it was completely, controlled with our scroll. Now, the second example will be a little bit different. Let me show you why. Maybe I'm just gonna come here to the home and just show you how it will, look like. Basically, we're gonna have this here. I cannot scroll here. I cannot scroll more, or I could if I would have more sections, but this would not be sticky. The way I would reveal this other content that is, overflowing to the right is by grabbing my touchpad here and scrolling here horizontally. So as you can see, I'm now not scrolling up and down to achieve the left and right movement, but I'm actually scrolling to the left and to the right horizontally to start moving these images and start revealing the overflowing parts. So again, much simpler, but I would say that it is a much different effect. But I also want to show this because this might be exactly what you're looking for. So let's see how to achieve this. So first of all, I'm going to again go here and grab our images, Command and C, and then come here and paste it within our section, Command and V, and also again set the width to fill, and I might set the height as well to fill in this case, so it will fill up the height of the section. Now let's take a look at this. I'm going to scroll down and you can see that nothing happens here. I'm scrolling horizontally on my touchpad, but nothing is really happening. So to allow that horizontal scroll, it's actually just one simple single feature, and it is basically called Overflow, or Overflow X more specifically. We can access that by coming here to the styles on the right after selecting the images and clicking this little plus button, selecting Overflow X, because we are trying to specify the behavior along the X overflow. What does this mean? I want to explain a little bit better. As you can see within these images, so first of all, the images frame is just this big. So it has, I don't know, 1000, I don't know, 200 or something, 1100 width, but it's not wider than that. So a bunch of these text layers, or sorry, a bunch of these images within are overflowing it to the right. And we're not really seeing them because they are outside of the container that wraps them. So we can specify how the overflow behaves on such elements, such containers. We can either set the overflow to visible, so you can see that this overflowing part here, for example, of this image is now visible because it's set to visible, but if I set it to hidden, now it's hidden. If I want to specify only the overflowing to the left and to the right, I can add the overflow X property and I can set it to scroll. So now we can see that by default it looks like as if it is hidden, but actually when I come here and start scrolling to the left and to the right, I can reveal those images that are overflowing to the left and to the right. Now you might see a little scroll bar here on the bottom, which you might not want to have. You can hide that by, again, setting a style on the images frame, and it's just called scroll bar or something like that. Here it is, scroll bars. You just hide it here. And now you're not gonna have it. No scroll bar. In my opinion, it's a little bit more cleaner, but might not be that accessible. I don't know. I prefer it this way. But you can do whatever you want to do. Great. Basically that's how you do it. Let me also do one more thing here. I'm going to just do a little overlay here, a little dark overlay, showing that there is like more content to the right, because someone might just think that, okay, this image ends here and I cannot really scroll. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a frame here, pressing F, drawing a frame. I can press Command X. Now it's on my clipboard. I can select the images frame, Command V. Now it's pasted in. It's on the far right side. It's completely overflowing. I cannot even see it. But I'm gonna set it to overflow. Sorry, not overflow. Position absolute. So I can move it around freely. I will just press a quick shortcut to try, so I bring it to the center of this frame, because now again I just cannot see it. So Option H centers it horizontally within its parent, which is the images. So now I can just move it around here freely. I'll pin it to the right with these little pins here. So right pin activated, set to 0, so it keeps 0 pixel from the right. And then I'll do the same on the top and on the bottom, and then maybe make it a little bit bigger. Then if I select the background color for a fill color of this frame and apply a little mask, we'll get something that we are looking for. So now if I scroll down to that section, we have that little, I don't know, like mask or whatever. Now you can see that it starts scrolling, which is not that great. So actually I'm thinking if there's a better way to achieve that. Maybe if I set a mask on the images frame, that will be better. I don't know, I have not tried it, so let's explore it now. Images, mask, and I'll just rotate this maybe to the other side. Yes, and just move it like this. Hopefully that will not be scrolling. Let's see. And that's not scrolling. And that's a much simpler way of making that a little like darker part on the right side. Actually, this was not the way I used on the original here on the home. So it's actually a great, little thing that we found together. So yeah, basically that's it for this video. These are the two types of horizontal scrolling inside the Framer. Currently, in the future, there might be, other ways of achieving the same effect, but right now, this is the two techniques that you can use. So yeah, make sure to leave any comments. If you have any questions, I'm gonna make sure to answer you guys. Also, check out Framer.university. I have a bunch of different components, resources, lessons. So if you are building sites with Framer, I think that site will be helpful for you. So yeah, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more, and I'm gonna see you in the next one.